Afrobeat Intelligence Podcast.
Afrobeat Intelligence, democratizing African music.
So, I'm interested in why, you come out, you drop a song, it's impactful, it goes into the minds and playlist of people. And then what you begin to notice is people move from the art and start focusing on the artist. Like at some point, they leave whatever you're giving them and begin to demand for more from personal space, from your own personal spaces. Why? Why do you think that happens?
Yeah. So you knew, you drop a hit, people know you, and then they move on naturally.
Yeah.
And they move past your voice. I remember when I just started out, and we had big songs like I remember when I started out with my song Shoddy.
Yeah.
And everybody was telling me how amazing my voice sounded. And then I came to town, met with other artists, signed up with Chocolate City, did Oluku, did Ara, and suddenly, all plays like, my God, vocals, voice. It didn't take more than a couple of years. And that started to die down slowly. Then I started to learn the most important thing, which is that people need to meet you.
Yeah.
And they want to know your political views, social views, cultural views, religious views. They want to know.
Yeah.
And of course, no question is important until it's asked.
Sure.
Yeah, so the moment the public notices something about you and they ask, it's time to start talking.
Sure.
Because you can have a fight with somebody they know, somebody they don't know, but it involves you. And then you move past it, and then the next minute you're telling them to dance.
Yeah.
They won't dance.
Yeah.
They'll freeze. That's what happens when they go address them. So people just want to know from then on, because that's the point. That's why you're the celebrity. That's why you're the star.
This extra demand, this demand for stuff, for knowledge, for whatever. I had a conversation. I think my last interview I published was an artist named Zlatan. And for an artist like Zlatan, he's now a star. He's a celebrity. And when things happen, people look towards him for some sort of guidance, for some sort of like input. But this is a person who has never lived a life that gave him that type of knowledge. This is a person who has been on the street for the most part. He's never lived the life of a role model, hasn't been groomed to be a role model. All this person has done is to make exceptional music that's very public facing. Isn't this unfair to this type of artist, to this person who just wants to make music, that they have to start wearing different hats?
Joe, I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's looking to anybody for guidance.
Okay.
I don't think so. That would be little not so prudent. Yeah.
But the majority of the world isn't so prudent.
Yeah, and then I think it's now up to the artist to establish a position. Yeah. And then you have to maintain that position. I have certain positions on, say, maybe giveaways.
Yeah, you'd never do a giveaway.
Hardly. It don't mean that there's no day that I'd been online and be like, you know what, I'm just giving somebody money. Yeah. Yeah. People are in my DMs, But to now declare 50K for 100 people, I have a very hard line against it, and I just don't do it. And to a lot of people, it's supposed to be an act of philanthropy. Yeah. Yeah. And then I see it differently. So I stick to what I see. And naturally, without any doubt, the most important thing here is music, without any doubt. And if your music aligns with those views, those practices, people will shift slowly, and they will begin to accept your position on the matter. Okay. As long as your position is not criminal, you owe nobody. Nobody has any right to be guided by you. Yeah. So I think everything can be talked about. Everything can be. You can then establish a position. People will understand.
But where would you draw this position from? Because music comes with a level of leadership that is expected. A level of leadership is expected as an artist, and where do you have to find this content, this thing for the people? Where do you have to drag it out from? Because all you've done is just made music.
Well, since you rightly mentioned that it's about leadership,
yeah,
then maybe that you can't get away from it. Maybe that you must find it within yourself to, to find the leader in you. Because if your voice comes out as a hit song and everybody is playing along and singing along, then it may just be smart that you are prepared to defend your position.
Yeah.
And if truly they expect leadership roles from you,
yeah,
then you may not be able to get away from that. Then you just have to find a way. For instance, I came in with a voice that's all bass, and everybody thinks I should have something important to say.
Yeah.
And I also started to think that way. Like, I can't sound this way and just, want to just make hit songs. Maybe truly I need to be able to say something more. One time I was on Twitter in 2012.
Yeah.
And one of my big brother in the business, he tweeted something about how Brymo could, if Brymo could break away from the pack, he could just be our Yusundo, something like that. And
how did that make you feel?
that was by Debantu back then.
Yeah, but how did that make you feel as an artist? You are currently on a journey or on a very particular mission, and someone is telling you that you could be something else, something iconic. What does that do to your head?
I don't think there's anything somebody says about you that's not in your head.
Okay.
So if somebody thinks I could be better, maybe I'm thinking it too, and they're helping me. And in that case, that was the situation. I just saw it and I was like, yes. For me, that was the beginning of a journey, like say merchants less than slaves till now.
So that comment aligned with your vision.
Yes. Yes. And there is not one artist on earth who is looking to blow up, who is looking to become big, who does not at one point in time think that they can be great.
Okay.
And every great person is a leader.
True.
And so therefore, you have to find a balance. You have to find a way. There is something you're saying in your music and then people want clarity.
True.
All the leadership you need to offer is already in what you have said on record.
True. So from your music, people can draw their messages.
Absolutely.
And then in spaces where people don't put messages in music, where they just talk about their lives and they talk about hedonism, as you have done as you've also done.
Yeah.
What do people now get from that in those situations?
What do they get? What do they get?
So for you, Brymo, you are eclectic. The music you make spans multiple genres. It's not defined by any genre, by any classification, any stratification. And people always wonder about one thing when they talk about your music. They're like, where does this come from? This imagery, this exploration of the human condition. Like, where does it all come from? This storytelling and this mastery of melody.
Oh, well, I would like to think it's a matter of practice. I remember at like 19 or 18 or 17 after secondary school, and then there's like a year period, or maybe even before secondary school ended. I started out with like a band with my friends, called ourselves Aliens, and between that time and maybe 2-3 years later, I probably wrote my first 150 songs.
Yeah,
and I never recorded one of those songs till date.
250 records.
150.
150 records. Songs.
And I was just written and lost in files because I was new, so I was just learning to write songs. So I wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. And by the time I was ready to start recording, I could write better.
Yeah, because writing itself is a motor skill.
Yes.
The more you do it, the better you get.
Yes. So there I go, 150 songs, and then one day I wake up and I have a new idea, and then it beats all 150, and then I just found myself, this song's not good enough.
Yeah.
But in reality, that was practice. And after 150 songs, I think you should be able to write one very great song. And then they started coming in trickles.
Yeah.
And then there was a song like Shorty, maybe Novex, maybe Breaking My Heart from like Brimstone.
Yeah.
That I could say, these are really good songs.
Okay.
And then all I had to do was focus on those while they were so good. And then by the time I was doing songs like Ara or Looking for Son of a Carpenter, I'd improved a bit more. And then maybe I scored 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 new songs that were really good. And then the hurricane came. and it was time to become a man. And so I think that's where the evolution starts from, where experience now merges with that knowledge of all that practice. And then now you get into real trouble. And you're like, do I go home or do I stay? And from that moment on, if you stayed and you write a new song, you can just imagine. So the evolution just steps in, and I never sort of stop reading, stop listening to new music, and everything just comes together. And I think it just gets better and better. For instance, Theta was written in 3 months, all 10 songs, and that's the fastest I ever wrote an album.
Wow.
Yeah, like way easier than it could have been 5-7 years ago.
So you think like the more you have done this, the easier it becomes?
Absolutely.
Does it ever get to any point where, because of how easy this comes to you, that you take it for granted?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, taking for granted is different because I worked so hard to get here. So taking for granted, no, but it can be boring. You get to a point where it becomes like stale. But even that is leading to another evolution. I remember after our show, I was tired. I was just fatigued. I would go to a gig and then I would have to rest for say maybe a whole week to recoup my energy. Yeah. So I could be ready again for another event or something. And that phase sort of passed. Yeah. Because I didn't relent, you know. And you get help.
Okay. And doing this, like becoming, when you showed up on the scene, everyone knew you were different. There was something special, like there was something unconventional about Brymo. Did you find fulfillment in using your gifts for the music you made at the start? Did you draw fulfillment from that? Or it was a commercial enterprise?
Yes. Remember what we talked about a while ago? Yeah. You are new. Fulfillment is largely about making a hit. Okay. It's largely about, I got the blow. Yeah. And in that time, your philosophies, your ideals, your views, you're not even clear about them yet. You're just hungry. And fulfillment was about scoring a hit.
Because that's what success represented.
At that point in time. You needed to be known. Yeah. Yeah. So, if you ask me, between Olekwa and Ara, for instance, when I listen to Olekwa, I'll be like, vanity, what am I even saying? You know? And then Ara came. And then towards the end of the song, I'm like, maybe I need to say a bit more. And then I go, Shilama, Kolimole, so build more houses, so buy new cars, do better. Yeah.
Because at that point, that's what you were about.
Exactly. And then it sort of evolves, as you go. I think, fulfillment starts to become different things at different times.
And at what point did your fulfillment switch from commercial success to like enlightenment?
Fulfillment never switches away from success. As soon as your fulfillment moves away from material success completely, what are you doing? True. Yeah. The essence of depth, of culture, of intelligence is to share with people. It's for people to like it enough to want to stream again, and then to hopefully get hooked on what you're delivering and come back again and again and again and find succor in it, and find guidance in it, and find some kind of appeal that makes them want to listen again. And so you can never remove commercial success, but it can't also continue to be the real focus of your work. Because like I said before, people begin to ask more questions. Yeah. And then on some days, you have to be politically incorrect to stay correct.
What does that mean?
How to explain it? It could be anything. Yeah. Say, for instance, there's a largely accepted opinion about, say, when you are accused in public of something you don't do, you just look away because you didn't do it. Yeah. It doesn't always work like that.
That's not your philosophy.
Yeah. Oh, on some days it is. Okay. Yeah, it depends depending on the gravity of the situation. You could be accused of something and you didn't do it, and You look at the situation and you can move on from it. And you could be accused of something and you have to quickly speak up.
Yeah.
So that you could be clear. Because the rumor alone could harm you.
Yeah, but you were nearly harmed recently. In 2020.
Yeah.
You were nearly harmed by an accusation of sexual harassment.
Yeah. Exactly. I had to speak up. If I had to go to an extent of making an album called Libel.
Just to address it.
To address it. So I could seal it up and put it in the archives.
So we're saying we're establishing your innocence now.
Yeah.
Good. And what did that smear, that slime,
yes,
what did it do to you as an artist?
It got me mad. I was enraged, you know.
Yeah.
Like, why? You know? And yeah, there's just nothing I could do other than just speak up. And for many, many weeks into months,
yeah, I
would have to stop people from talking about it that way. Because aside from that, I didn't do anything as such. There's never been a court case.
Yeah.
Never been any judgment.
Yeah.
So people show up and want to just say this person is like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't let that slide. Because one time I was in a meeting and this was following another accusation, which is very popular.
Yeah.
You know, and someone told me I shouldn't have addressed that publicly. And I said, well, I should have. They say, it's a private matter. I say, it's not. It's a joke. I say, it's not. It wasn't a joke. And
because this all happened in the public sphere.
Yeah. And they say, it's not a joke. Well, this other matter happened privately, you know. And they said, no, it's not a joke. And then the person goes back to that matter and goes, oh, the people who want to invest in you, but you have this sexual harassment accusation against you. I said, oh, really? He said, yes. So I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And goes, but you know it's in the media. I said, exactly. That's why I must address it.
True.
That's the kind of situation. And if someone would think it's politically incorrect, you could have addressed that privately. Well, it's hurting my image publicly.
Yeah.
So in that kind of situation, you have to address it.
Did that hurt your business?
Yes.
Having that sort of attention, having that sort of narrative.
Yeah.
Because you were accused of a moral crime.
Yes. Yes.
And the work that you do as an artist is very public facing.
Mm-hmm.
And in this, a lot of people might not choose to admit it, but reputation is everything. Even as a commercial entity, as a person, a man with honor, like reputation is everything.
Absolutely.
And when this happened, your business, how was it affected by this?
There's another case of me being accused of sleeping with someone's wife.
Yeah, that's another one also.
And that was huge. In fact, let me tell you
the one where you were accused of sleeping with Annie Macaulay.
Yeah.
Annie Dibia, rather.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And that was big. It was ridiculous. And oh my God, I carried that for maybe 2 years.
2 years.
And then I went on to do organized chaos. I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I just had to let it out. And surprisingly, we just dropped 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just dropped 9. And 9 was going, ooh. First week we were in millions of streams on Apple Music. First week.
Yeah.
Boom. And it was good. And then I went and I tweeted, and my streams went all the way down to a quarter of that song.
Wow.
I tweeted it, right?
Yes. Yes, you brought it to the public
and
sphere.
It still hurt me like that.
But why did you decide to bring something to your microphone, something that's that personal and involved a lot of
I was being politically incorrect.
Okay.
To be correct. Exactly. Because if I didn't do that, and word was spreading in the background, people will never know the truth, and then it could just be hurting me, and in the long run, it will destroy me completely. And so, addressing it immediately created some sort of sudden halt in my progress, but it was necessary for that to happen then and there. And then as soon as that happened, as we speak, the streams are going back to where they came from.
Yeah.
So now people are getting clarity, and then everything is settling down back. That's how it works.
Okay, one final question about this before we move forward. When people talk about like being accused of things, about being put in these situations, for a number of people, the people who would, hold on to these things, there's a school of thought that says when there's fire, like there must be smoke. Mm-hmm. So you might how it translates in the real world is people are asking, why do you put yourself in these situations? Why Brymo?
Well, That's what aspirations do.
Yeah.
If you aspire to become something, you better believe there's someone who thinks it's theirs. If you do the job of a connoisseur, if you're prudent at what you do, and Joey is the best media personality in the country, there's somebody else who probably think they are better than Joey.
People always think they're better than me, and to be honest, a lot of people are, but that's very relative.
And now you're in a situation.
Okay.
And that's how it is. That's how it is. So I never knew it could be like that. I thought I could just aspire, write great songs, and just be the guy. And I'll just be the guy. Yeah, but if there's someone somewhere who think that they want that position too, they will present an argument. In my world, the argument is another album. In my world, the argument is better songwriting.
Yeah.
Better vocals. If I can sing better than you, I'm better than you.
Okay.
Problem solved.
Sure.
And someone else might think otherwise. And however they choose to take the challenge, you're in a situation. Period.
When you were down, because we've just established that you were down. When you were down, when you experienced a blip or a dip in fortunes because of these narratives or these situations, circumstances that you were embroiled in, did you, and you know it was hurting you, it was hurting your pocket, your streams were dropping. Do you ever ask, in that situation, two questions from this. In that situation, do you ever think like, I could have handled this differently?
No.
Okay.
There was no other way.
Yeah. It was important that you suffered this and did it the way you did.
Immediately. And don't forget, immediately was years later. Exactly.
The time is relative.
Yeah. So I had to take enough time to establish the situation. There are certain accusations that come to you.
Yeah.
If they are to be right, you are gone.
True.
If they are to be wrong, your accuser is gone.
Yeah.
However, the situation is somebody's in trouble when certain words are uttered.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point where you need to now, cleanse yourself. Especially in a place where we're not the quickest to approach the law.
Yeah.
The law is not the quickest to deal with matters.
Yeah.
So you find yourself, everything is in limbo. Yeah. The public has no clarity.
Yeah.
The public has no clarity. There's no clarity. So everything is in limbo. And people are making up their minds slowly.
Yeah.
And the forces are sponsoring news. Yeah. If I don't like Joey, I could as well pay 50 guys start tweeting about Joey and mess him up.
Okay.
And if Joey doesn't save himself and just keeps quiet and saying, "My God will save me, my feet will save me," I don't know what happens to Joey.
Yeah.
Joey may just be consenting. Yeah. So there was enough time taken, and then you have to address it.
And then the second question from that time when you were down is, how did you find pockets of strength to go on? Because it fucks with your head.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think maybe that's where faith comes in.
Okay.
If you are down enough with what you're doing, it will sort of strengthen you. It will fuel you. I started making music first of all because I loved the idea that I could be a lot of things within a box. If I had to be a footballer and say I was midfielder, I would always be midfielder.
Yeah.
I would never have to play defense. Even if I have all this extra part of energy, I would have to specialize a lot. People will see me playing midfield more. They will see me assisting in defense or striking. And so music expands more than that. I could be the songwriter, the vocalist, the performer, the one getting interviewed, one on the adjustment billboard. Of course, a sportsman enjoy these things too. But the scope of being a musician is a bit wider because I get to write my songs and I get to go to the studio and record them.
Yeah.
I get to perform them on stage. All of this stuff to do with songs. Yeah. So there's like 3-4 departments. So it gives me more to do. So I do not feel bored. So I like the process of music making and releasing. That's why I started making it. Also, it now became like sort of an opportunity for me to put out my thoughts out there.
Yeah. To impose your will on the world.
Yeah. Well, imposition. I suggest.
I can suggest your will on the world.
Life will do what it wants to do with you in the end.
Yeah.
And I suggest. And when I was a boy, I had a lot of strong views at home. My parents would say, "My son, tao." don't say that outside.
Yeah.
Don't say that. People don't want to hear that kind of stuff. I'm like, they want to, they will. I said, don't. My friends would say something. But when I started singing, people started being like, wow, you have a lovely voice.
Yeah.
So they started noticing the texture of the voice before they hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I realized, I could get away with a lot here. I could say whatever I want here.
Yeah.
And people will be engrossed with how well I sound. And now they'll be listening to me.
Sure.
And as soon as I found that, I just could never look back. And yeah, who looks back from that? You know? So, yeah. So because of that, no matter what happens, I can always turn to music and be like, at least I can say what I want to say here.
Yeah. And it provides that ability, that it provides a certain level of freedom and assurance.
It's amazing. And when I discovered that freedom, it now became an issue of who thinks you're not saying the right things. And it became an issue of nobody can tell me that I'm not saying the right thing. So you know what? I'll just be my own executive producer. So you find yourself needing more freedom to use that freedom.
Yeah.
If you do not have the administrative freedom over your work, you will lose this other freedom. Because your record label boss or your manager could easily tell you, don't say that.
Yeah.
Like my parents.
Sure.
So yeah.
Okay. But when you make music, when you're in the music industry as an artist, as a creative of your caliber, there's a certain way like business is conducted. Like you gotta sign, like especially when you want to make an assault on the highest levels. It's convention for you to get signed to a major. It's convention now that Afrobeats to the world is happening. That you're plugged into one of these people with the pipelines, whether Warner, Sony, EMI, Empire, all of these people that are trying to connect our culture to a global space using sound. And in these spaces, there's a certain level of freedom you have to give up to access these services. A certain level of freedom. Why don't you want to pay that? Why don't you ever think like, I'm weighing the odds, I'm weighing the options I have here?
Well,
lose a bit of my voice, lose a bit of my personhood, but get more for myself and my people, or stay free and maintain my freedom and don't get like the complete access to this.
You do not lose complete access because you have your freedom.
Okay.
You do not gain anything because you gave up your freedom.
Okay.
In fact,
but it's a trade.
In fact, you get nothing when you lose your freedom.
Okay.
You lose everything. I don't care what anybody says. They're lying. It's all gone. You have the freedom. It's all gone. And everybody will see that later.
Okay. What are the convictions in choosing to make music this way, in choosing to navigate the world like this?
I don't know. It's just it's like a hunch.
Yeah.
Plus experience, plus time. I mean, I'm doing better now than when Oluku was a big song.
Yeah.
Way better. How come? You know? And everybody out there thought we were like, boom, these boys are in money. It's a whole different conversation. And one era of 100 naira does not always, you know, it doesn't always mean more than all of 20 naira.
Yeah.
It's not always. Just because I got $100 from 1,000 naira does not mean that my 15 naira that I got 100% is not better.
Yeah.
It is better if you ask me, because I got 100%.
Yeah.
So I could upscale that into 100 naira later, to 200 naira later if I redream, if I reshoot my shot. And I've done that many times and it works. And it is the freedom to create freely that is nudging me towards progress. And yeah, if you show me an artist who will remain the favorite of a certain label for say 15 straight years and just kept making a killing and never got into bigger debt, yeah, then there's freedom there. But there isn't any. I've been there before. So the first thing you have is freedom. In fact, the reason they signed you is because you were free.
Yeah.
So if someone was to sign you and take their freedom from you, what do you have left?
Shackles.
Absolutely. You know, and nothing stays sweet forever anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the most beautiful love stories, they have their struggles. The fact that it was beautiful in the beginning is why you keep having faith in it as you go. And then there will be all those boosts of memory, those moments where you're like, yeah, this is how we used to be before. And then you enjoy it for a bit again, then the struggles come back. But the struggles were very less when you started out.
Yeah.
So there's going to be struggles in everything. My freedom to bring struggles. So, yeah. I mean, freedom is a kind of prison, right?
Yes, it is.
But that's the kind of prison I choose.
Okay. So you have this freedom. But let me walk you back a bit, because I'm always seeking motivations for everything. Because that it's by finding out people's motivations, people's reasons.
Yeah.
That's how you learn.
Yeah. It's always in the why.
Yes. The why. The whys contain everything.
Why?
Yes. That's how you understand the world and how the wheel grinds.
I swear.
Yeah. When you made a record like, you had a record like Oleko, it brought you the knowledge, it brought you public fame, it brought you acceptance, it brought you community, because people rallied around you because of that record. Mm-hmm. At that moment, like when you made that sort of record, did you know, or was there any inkling that this was going to be Nigerian or African music lore?
No.
Did it feel like that?
No, it was just, hunger, passion, time, chance. It doesn't just aligned in those moments. I like to think that maybe because I was coming from, say, Michael,
yeah,
and I needed to find success. And then, I had Shoddy. The video was on Sound City. MI saw it.
Yeah.
So didn't really contacted me.
So Didn't that saw your Shoddy first?
Yeah.
Contacted you?
It was on Sound City anyways, and he was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my manager met Dirinle, and he was Joker. She met Dirinle, introduced me to Dirinle. I got nominated for Sound City Music Video Awards.
Yeah.
Around that period, I think I was supposed to feature and perform at the event, the award ceremony.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't. I got that there were so many of us upcoming artists backstage wanting to perform. So I didn't perform. And I felt like maybe they really felt he owed me for that.
Yeah.
Because he had promised me and then it didn't work out.
He promised you a moment and that didn't happen.
It didn't happen. And I left it alone. I was hurt. Like,
well, you felt pain from it, right?
Of course, naturally. I mean, look at me now, Coco Boy. I'll just be on Sound City Music Video Awards. Yeah. I would just be like, see Brymo, and it didn't happen. They're like,
that would have been a big deal for you.
Yeah. So it didn't happen, and then I just stayed back and left alone. And then not more than 8 months later, he called me and just like, I'm like, bro, it's a long time. And he goes, yeah. So where am I? You know, am I? I was like, no, am I? And he goes, he wants to work with you. I'm like, what?
So they really made this connection.
Huh?
So they really made the connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when you said what, he said yes.
Say yes now. Say yeah. So I'm sending his number to you now. And before you know what's up, I was making a call. I was talking to Abuchi. Yeah. And then, sorry.
Abuchi's an OG. He's been around forever.
Been around.
Yeah.
And then I was speaking to Abuchi, and the next thing I'm visiting and meeting Jesse, recording my first song with Jesse on high, literally. And we had LOVU. Yeah. And then
so immediately you made the call. You guys arranged to see. Was it that same day?
Maybe a week later.
Yeah.
And I think M wasn't around when I came. Yeah. But Abuchi took the call and asked me to come. I got there and M wasn't around. I met Jesse. I think that was the plan. So I met Jesse, and he was in the studio playing his Jack of All Trades album.
Okay.
This was 2 weeks to release of the album.
Did you have any sense of occasion about that moment, going there from Okokomaiko and going there, getting into the space where there was already proof of concept?
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. You're drinking water now. I have a Long Island here.
Joey is drinking early morning. It wasn't me.
Brymo is a bad influence. So you walked in there at that point. You had achieved considerable level of success, because I believe for an artist, the highest level of success you've experienced is the highest level of success you've experienced.
Wow.
Yeah.
Touché.
So at that point, that was you had gotten to a certain peak.
Yes.
On the personal level.
Yes.
And then you walk into the space where there was already proof of concept that something was happening here, that it was bigger than yours.
Yes.
Was there a sense of occasion that day?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because the air was charged.
Okay.
You know? This was me just going, it's not just jags, but yeah, see, at my house like this, and it was good. And we did that song, I Love You.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks exactly later, it was just his album launch. He took that song, he mastered it, put it on the album.
Wow.
Just like that. And I got invited.
And that was the first time you met him ever?
Ever.
Okay.
I never met MI yet, still.
Yeah. But you're already on the Chocolate City album.
It was that simple.
Okay.
It's crazy. And then, Theta was at the album launch, and I met MI, and he goes, Brymo, yes. Okay, he's having a shot man, something like that. Like, we're laughing about it. And, yeah. And that's how everything just came together. And before you know what's up, 3 months down the road, we were recording, I think right after that, about maybe a month later, we were in the studio for action film. And I would visit, go back to Kokomaiko, come visit, go back to Kokomaiko. And yes, Oleku. And
so at that point, you were still living in Kokomaiko?
Yeah. But I would come over and stay. Oh. And it was around the time we recorded Oleku that I stayed.
Okay.
More. And yeah.
Coming over means Lekki or VI or where?
I was Maryland.
Maryland.
I was Maryland then. Banikoro.
Oh, I cool.
And then I would go and then we recorded Oleku. So yes, we didn't know. I didn't know. It was a fluke as far as I was concerned. So every time the record label would check in on the song before I released it, and they'll be like, wow, oh man, this thing go blow. I'll be like,
so you had doubts about it, its chances.
What I listening to? What's going on here? Okay, whatever. But I was sure that the vocals were really open, you know. Yeah, see, that's another kind of evolution. I found this new space, recording with people who were already established. And I think that was sort of fueling my aspiration. And so Oleku was the moment where it all came alive. And yeah, it was a process, because thinking about it now, Jesse walked in and altered the production of Oleku.
Yeah. And it was a different song before he walked in.
Yeah, sort of. But it's the same chorus.
Yeah.
Exact chorus. So he just replayed the instrumental. He rearranged it, and then boom. It was a new song, and it was just so good. But I think it has something to do with the fact that I did LOVU with Jesse first.
Yeah.
MI did a lot of touches on Oleku. It has something to do with the fact that we did action film next. Yeah. So all of us now then came together. It was the first time and maybe only time that all 4 of us were involved on a track like that in different departments. Yeah. And in fact, Abuchi did some engineering work on the album.
Wow.
On the song as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So literally everybody played their part, and I think all of that came together and just created.
When did you know that it had blown? Was it instant for you?
It was too quick, Joy. Like too quick.
Time limit, a week.
Yeah. So what? 24 hours.
Whoa, 24 hours you knew this had blown.
Yes. It was ridiculous.
There was no social media then.
Oh, there was.
There was a certain level of it, but what we don't have the amount of access we have now.
If you ask me, I think Oleku birthed influencing.
Okay.
If you ask me. It was the first time people were just online going on and on about a song. You know, and aside from the fact that social media influencing here had just been born, there was a whole month to 2 period where Ice was playing this song to every DJ, every OAP.
Before the record came out.
Oh my God. He did a lot of work. He was seeking ideas, seeking advice, and playing to everybody. What do you think? And they're like, yeah, I should release this. It's a great hit. It would be a great hit. And so it
was unanimous.
It was amazing. That's how I knew that it was a moment. And I think for me, right after Oleku, I started looking back for that moment that never came back until Merchants, Less and Slaves.
When were you looking? What was in that moment that you were looking for?
I was looking for an alignment where I could write like that and sing like that every single time.
Okay.
I wanted to be epic every single time. And Oleku was the first time I was at epic, and I wanted to stay in that zone. And I sort of had to experience a slippery slope before finding it again. Because from Oleku to my Ara to Good Morning to the entire Song of a Carpenter album, I think I experienced a steady decline in output.
Well, people would say, like, for an artist who has had a song, was being a part of a song, Oleku, and then you've gotten Ara, and you've gotten a lot of records, and then down to Good Morning. Good Morning is still one of the best records ever released in this country.
Amen.
Yes, it is. It's so beautiful.
Wow.
And why do you think there's a decline when on the front end, people would say, this guy is consistent?
Well, I can tell faster. I'm my own first critic.
Okay.
So I'm just listening there and going, still need to walk again. And it's fresh inspiration. And I want Oleku inspiration. I just want to be in that zone.
Yeah.
I write like that every time. And sing with an open voice, mind like that every time, no matter what I'm saying. And now that I have more experience, I would like to say important things. And so that opportunity came with songs like Down, songs like, you know, the old Merchandise and Slaves album. I was already writing MD&S anyway, before I even left the label. So yeah. So the idea is to, I think it just, you know, you just keep it going.
And this brings us to a very important point in your story, in your journey to this moment. You had music enthusiasts from previous years, like the previous generation. I'm young, but I like to think I came from a generation before this one. And one of the things that hurt us the most, like broke our hearts, like, was when you left Chocolate City. We felt like you committed a crime because it appeared to be going so well.
Yes.
And at that moment, I think I was just getting into the industry you left in 2012? 2013, 2012.
13 years.
2013.
Very early.
I was just getting into the early 2013. That was when I was just getting into the industry. I didn't know jack from anything. I was a pure fan. I was a civilian. I was a civilian in this business. And the first thing I get hit with is Brymo leaving Chocolate City. And I was like, no way. Was it hard for you to do that?
Oh, yes, it was. Because I had found in my mind in Promised Land.
Okay.
And from here on, they were going to get it. This is it.
It was your springboard to success.
Yes, it was time. And, I mean, I saw the world first with Chocolate City. Traveled everywhere. And, from Asia to Europe, all of Africa, everywhere.
You performed everywhere.
Everywhere. And it was good, you know. And so when everything started to fall apart, there was just nothing I could do about it. Because after a while, you start to realize that you have to find a way to float. Or you drown. Yeah. Sure. Save yourself. And it was hard. It was very tough, especially because I was being sued for contract breach. Yeah. There was being arraigned in public spaces.
But did you breach the contract?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
The label did, and then I had to walk away.
Yeah.
And that in itself is tough, because I would have preferred that this kept going on.
Yeah. I
love steady progress.
And it was very tangible then.
It was working.
Yeah.
Whoosh.
and that entire drag, because I followed the case. You guys went to court over and over and over and over again. Did you guys finally get to a resolution? Because that's not in the public sphere.
Yeah, fortunately. I remember the last day in court.
Yeah.
The judge sat up there, and it was time to give a judgment. And he looked at the Chocolate City lawyer and goes, he was about to give his verdict, I think. And then the lawyer goes, the judge is biased. And then the judge goes to my lawyer, what do you think? And she goes, as the court pleases. I don't know what that means till it. I'm wondering, as the court pleases?
Is argumentum ad baculum, appeal to authority.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, there's been there's been a meeting behind closed doors, clearly.
Yeah.
And the judge goes, he'll be moving this case to another judge. And that he has been accused of bias.
No way.
And this was a case that had been clearly won. And I was just standing there going, where's my 50 million damages?
Because you were supposed to earn money from that.
From damages, yeah. I was sued and I counter-sued, naturally. And I was supposed to make money, maybe even 100 million, maybe 150, I can't even remember anymore. And there was a case being trashed. That was sounded like they were dumping it, even though they said it was transferring to the judge. And right after that, I asked my lawyer, why? What happened? And then she goes, to avoid a Watergate scandal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you accuse a judge of bias, that judge has to protect their integrity and their honor, they have to recuse themselves from the case.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway. Well, yeah, that's what happened. And then she goes on to say, don't worry, we're not coming back here. I say, of course I can tell you're not coming back here. So what happened? What deal? What deal did you take behind me?
Sure.
You know? And he just wanted to end, so he won't be like every artist has to sue their labels.
So did you feel betrayed by your lawyer?
Of course. I'm saying, going, so why did the judge say he was moving the case? Why didn't he just say...
Like, why didn't they deliver something substantial?
And just say that the case is gone, so people can hear it once and for all. It took me another 3-4 years, maybe 3 years, for Larry to get a call from Audu saying that the case has finally been removed from court.
That's Larry Lawal, your former manager.
Yeah. And then he got a call from Audu saying that the case has been finally moved from court and they wanted to go public and tell the public. I said, they want to go public with that now? 2-3 years later? They better just keep it, leave it alone, you know, because, you know, yeah. Important thing was that, is it out of court? I said, but it was out of court since 2016. Sure. Why are you making it sound like you're doing me a favor now? Yeah. Yeah. So the case was out of court and, you know, yeah.
But being in that sort of case where I believe when a label and an artist are clashing and publicly, very publicly, your case was very public. People were attending sittings, all of that was happening. Yeah. I believe that you're fighting on primarily 2 fronts.
4.
Okay, 4. Okay.
A lot of fronts.
Yeah, on a lot of fronts. But for me, being on that end then, being on the public side, I see 2 fronts. What's really happening in-house and also what's happening in the court of public opinion. So you were in 2 courtrooms at the same time. And Chocolate City had a lot of love because they had provided a conveyor belt of artists and hits.
Yes.
And you were just an artist within that system. It looked like you were rebelling. It didn't look like you were fighting for something that was important to you. It felt like you were ungrateful.
Yeah, that's how it looked. It looked like you got fed and you bit the hands that fed you.
Yeah.
But who was feeding who though?
Okay.
Because I'm the artist. I create content for the label to sell.
Everything revolves around that content.
Literally. And so all of our compromises, there seems to be a lot of attention being paid to money being spent to fund this content.
Yeah.
But is it really money you spend to promote music? Is it? Because a record label has all of its contact.
Yeah.
And there is creed. There's a reputation in the business, and the more reputable you are, the less money you spend, because people now trust your work. Joey wants to play your music on his podcast. This OAP wants to use your music on their program because they trust your delivery.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So we were literally feeding each other. Where it's a partnership. It's strange that when you are getting signed, you're treated like a partner, like the artist, and we are the business.
Yeah.
And after you get signed, you become an employee.
The power dynamic, the dynamic switches.
It switches because they spend money and they did tell you cannot release this track because our friends in that assembly will be offended. You can't release this track because my banker friend will be offended.
Yeah.
My lawyer friend will be offended. Why will you say that? That's politically incorrect. Nobody stop you from saying misogynistic things.
Yeah.
They don't stop you from being homophobic. They don't stop you from being anti-progress.
Because that doesn't touch the paper.
It does.
Now it does. Back then it didn't.
It's always done. It's always done. There's no misogynistic song that reigns for long. After 3-4 months, somebody will listen and be like, what's that? And they will just drift away from the song. And they drift away from the song, and 3, 4, 5 people. I've been somewhere in South Africa one time, and these South African girls were enjoying this Nigerian song, and they were just having fun. And one of them goes, what is this song saying? Because it's a pidgin song.
Yeah.
I said, this is what the song means. And they go, I don't like it anymore. And I realized in that moment, the song was making reference to a promiscuous woman.
Okay.
But when
so it was finger pointing.
So like, you know,
was an accusatory
finger. But it was a sweet song.
Yeah.
And then I explained it in English to the girl, and she goes, and then I realized immediately she's a club girl.
Yeah.
We're in a club. And I just realized, that was one of my first lessons about content.
Yeah.
Yeah, about how you could be selective, and then you could be pointing fingers, and then it affects the flow of the music after a while. Everybody feels accused, and then they will stop listening to your song. Those are the real issues affecting record sales, not a politician.
True. But people would, making an argument for the people who maintain this viewpoint. In a country then, now we have the liberty of streaming. We have the liberty of building digital communities. We have a diaspora audience seeking for soul searching and seeking for connection to what they have lost in the past. So all of these things can provide avenues for an artist to generate money and make music by making music. Mm-hmm. But back then, a lot of these channels were not open. A lot of them were not available to the world, even to the execs and the people who were considered powerful. What was available was, you make this music, you take this song, and whether you pirate it or not, just make sure it gets popular. And then we'll go to all the people who have the money. And back then, unlike now where the money can come from, global companies trying to like monetize the content. Back then, the money sat with local entities that had vested interests, and they wanted a certain level of control about like in spaces where people connect with the public, because that's where they derive their power. So if a record label boss has an artist that people love and can understand that they can pally that, they can trade that acceptance, that love for lucre, what they would naturally do is to go where the money resides and try to cozy up with this money, because that's how they improve their bottom line. Mm-hmm. An artist like you would represent the problem.
Everything is as it is, as we have seen it to be, as we wish it to be, as we will it to be.
Yeah.
If record labels in Nigeria back then wanted to suck up, sit together, and create a marvelous working distribution system, for instance, they would have done it. They didn't do that. And there was a time we said our CD is selling very well.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything about it. Nobody focused on the actual primary sources of income. Today in Nigeria, we're still not focusing on the primary sources of income. All our streams come from abroad.
True. We haven't been able to find a way to monetize locally, to make music, MP3, have value locally.
Exactly. Sir, that's the real problem. Wherever else you go for money, you're a criminal.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
You will deal here and deal here and deal here, and you start sitting in dark rooms, signing dark papers, and then start saying that I spent 50 million on you. Who cares about that?
And giving bits of your soul away.
Slowly. Yes. Your freedom. And then you have nothing left. Nothing left. Just a fracas between you and your signee, your artist. And then you're there sitting in court telling everybody how much you spent on the artist, and you cannot make your money back because you did not figure out how to make your money back. It's a business.
Yeah.
Apple didn't make an iPhone and then tell you how to sell it for them.
Yeah.
They didn't do it. They literally have Apple stores everywhere. People queue up to buy the phone. They control the entire process.
The entire ecosystem, because they needed to market this product.
Don't you see Coca-Cola trucks everywhere?
Everywhere. Every 9 out of 10 times, when the truck breaks down on the road in Lagos here, it's a Coca-Cola truck.
Going to distribute
to distribute the goods. That's how much they distribute. That's how much of a network they have.
So who's going to do that for you? The artists? We can't do that. We can't take care of that. And I saw that. I saw that the business wasn't done right. It wasn't. Oh, right after I left, I made Larry Lawal started distribution for CDs.
Yeah.
At some point, we had maybe 50 stores in the same country before we finally just packed it up because we're going more digital anyway. And then to try my hand in it. That's it. And the little progress we made, I could tell that if a consortium of people, if a bunch of record labels had done this 10 years before, it would have been huge.
But LD tried to do that with Alaba.
What?
With who? LD took us to Alaba in the past.
That's the thing. You can't be fighting what exists. You have to just start something. You have to pull the rug from under them.
Okay.
That's what you gotta do. Because within a year to two of just distributing CD ourselves, Alaba was coming back to Larry Lawal now saying, we want to offer you money. Yeah. Don't do it yourself. That's how you get power. You solve the problem. When you solve the problem, then other people will rally around you to share from the solution.
Share from your solution, yeah.
So why look at the man who is doing this and tell the man, you're not doing well, you're not doing well. Great. What are you doing? What are you doing? The man should be looking at from far and going, damn, he fixed it. I lost. Better. That's how you win. That's how you win fair. You know? So nobody did that. Nobody's doing that. I'm literally discussing an app that can be like an African streaming platform.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing it. Maybe they'll wait until I build it. Because I found myself solving all the problems that I complained about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody can pretend right now that I did not coin alternative.
Yeah.
And I didn't invent that shit. They can pretend I didn't evolve the songwriting, the stage performances, artist presentation, how I speak on TV, how I present myself. They can pretend now that they don't remember how all of that came back. I brought sexy back, Joey.
Yeah.
Slowly and steady. Yeah. But how did I do it? I complained.
Yeah.
I was online tweeting, and everybody was like, shut up, it's the talk.
Yeah, people used to think you talk.
Then I went back to my drawing board and I started solving the problems one after the other. And today when you come and say like, I'm best songwriter, I'll be like, have you met Brymo? I'm the best. Have you met Brymo? That took a lot of years because I had to now put in the work and shut my mouth and then do the work. And people will see that.
And then for being this way, being hyper independent, being super convinced on your convictions, holding fast to the things you believe in, and that can be seen as an act of protest. The world interprets that as an act of protest.
No, the world is protesting.
Yeah, but
I'm not the one protesting.
You're seen as anti-establishment.
But I am an establishment. How can I be against something that I champion? You see, that's the problem. I'm anti-regressive establishment.
Okay.
Nothing should be rigid. Nothing should take a form permanently.
You're progressive.
Yeah. So even in my own box, it's constantly expanding. Even if all I can do is put a brick here today, you cannot be rigid. You can't just take a system and then lock it down and say this is exactly how it will always be every day. It's business. You could try that with personal relationships. Because you don't want to destroy the connection between you and your loved ones, or you and your friends. Yeah. You can keep those rigid. You can try as much as possible to not offend your friends.
Yeah, to not bring a lot of like disorder into that.
You can try. But this is survival.
Yeah.
I'd like to outdo Joey to release a better podcast. That's the point.
Yeah.
Things are supposed to be chaotic so we can get results. And then this year they'll say Joey is the best presenter. Yeah. And next year is Brymo. Yeah. And next year is Joey. That's the point in the story. And if that's not progress, I wonder what is. If 1 or 2, 3 guys are sitting on top and just sitting at the tip of the pyramid and just going, I am the shit, I'm the shit, every day, every year for the next 5 years, that's a regression. It's impossible for your tweets to have 20,000 likes every time.
Yeah.
It is,
It's impossible.
People don't like it that much. Yes. People tweet less and tweet less. 10K retweets today, 15K retweets tomorrow, 8K next minute. Because
the world is always in flux.
Come on. You're not the only one. So somebody wins today, somebody just tomorrow. Well, in sports, where we can see you on the pitch, then you can be Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi then. Because we see it every year. Yeah. In music, where you can be Brymo Or you can be the best songwriter every album you drop. Then we see it then. But don't I have to go back to write songs?
You have to.
Last night when Messi scored 4 goals, tonight he's not playing, somebody else scored 3 goals. He's not shining today.
Yeah.
He shined yesterday and now he's resting today for somebody else to shine. And that's the point in the story.
That's the nature of the world.
Yes.
You left Chocolate City and there was a huge shift in how you approach the art. Yes, via our conversations, even now and before, you are always insistent on how financially rewarding this is. How rewarding it is, both financially, spiritually, like chasing your path. But there's a school of thought that believes that you went away from the masses. Like you moved away from the masses, curated your own people, and you're there. That's the same school of thought that sometimes when you analyze their thought processes, you begin to see like they overlap with people who still believe that your greatest work is still Ara and Olekun. Yeah, they overlap because those records are in a certain format that you seldom touch.
Yeah.
So do you think those people who have this thought about, those people who feel alienated, do you believe they have a point?
Yeah, I find it strange that everybody wants to have a niche now.
Okay.
And everyone used to tell Brymo to break away from the niche. And everybody was watching Brymo invent the niche system. And I find that very strange, you know. We live in a society that just looks for somebody who's a hard worker and then they try to snatch their work while telling them, you're too stubborn, you're too stubborn. You're too stubborn, and then they want to take that which you've created. So, most importantly, it is a point of view.
Yeah.
Which they have a right to. And I also have a right to my explorations. And like I said before,
support to creative license.
Yes, and the concept of creating a niche, a movement of my own, it's working pretty well, if you ask me. And success for me is in different status. And money, fame, impact, and with impact you can you will make money, you'll be fine. And all of this stems from the fact that you have freedom to create in the first place. Yeah. So as long as I hold on to that, as long as I have freedom, I'll be fine. And yeah, people have their views. All the people who feel like, say, it's not like Ara or Oliku, my biggest works, they need to know that I moved away from the singles market a long time ago. Yeah. And then after a while, I started calculating my success of my publishings. Yeah. In terms of the body of work. And if you look at the success of, say, even MDNS is doing better than Son of a Carpenter. And that's the most important to me. Yeah. The fact that I have a body of work that together forms a bigger picture. And between Hallelujah Meje and Akoko, Ara doesn't have enough stream. You know what I'm saying? I get you. Yeah. So, and that's the point in the story. To be able to have a body of work that surpasses just singles. And after a while, is everybody not going back to albums now? Yeah, they are. It's moving towards an album market. But you've always been there. Exactly. So they're coming to meet you. Well, that's the point. And why do you think there's a certain pushback from the mainstream against you? Because that's the point, you know? So it's a wheel. Yeah. Yeah. Grind against each other and in life is birthed. You know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I like being the dick. You fuck the world. The world loves it. Is that not the most important thing? Yes. Yeah. I mean, You could be a 5-second guy.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy.
Yeah, you play the long game. You are.
Oh, Joey.
Yes, you play.
Oh my God.
You play the long game. Okay. So you've done all of this. You've created so much work, so much content. You've touched lives. You've impacted people. And more than anything, you've inspired a lot of people with the work you've done and the way you've chosen to go about it. At the end of the day, what makes it all make sense for you?
Freedom of expression.
Yeah.
Still.
You keep mentioning this freedom.
Yes, because whatever you can express freely, you have control over.
Yeah.
Like, how to explain? I don't know how to say that. Like, I like to say that whatever is done in the dark, from start to finish, may be vile.
Yeah.
You never saw what you did, how you started, how you ended, you finished it, you completed it. Try and say it after.
Yeah.
Try and report somebody after. You find yourself stuttering. You find them going, you did that. Because everything was done in the dark. Nobody can see you, so when it's time to be reckless, you'll be like, nobody gonna know now. You will make mistakes. Oh, you will. Certainly. Because I was in my mother's womb for 5 months. She didn't know I was there.
Yeah.
And she was taking drugs.
For 5 months.
She was taking drugs that could have aborted me. Or because she was in a period, so she didn't know I was there.
Yeah.
She was making moves. She was making mistakes. This was not deliberate darkness, though. She didn't even know.
I know.
But something is in the dark. Mistakes follow. Back to back to back to back.
True.
Because there's darkness. So I know what I'm saying. Because that's where I came from. So, and that's why God does not just, you never seen anybody who got pregnant yesterday and just see them today and boom, the stomach is like this. There's nobody you saw last week who wasn't pregnant and then boom, they have a baby the next week.
It takes time.
It's 9 months plus.
Gestation takes
It
time.
will grow slowly and the world will meet the child before the world meets the child.
True.
Because the child will grow in the tummy for you to see before the child is now birthed for you to truly see.
True.
So life reveals everything slowly. Why should we hide things? You know, so, and what was the question again?
about how it may all make sense and its freedom.
Yes. So it's expression. The freedom to give, to share as I go.
Yeah.
To share as I go before I'd show you the whole, you know. And even with 9, we had to take like a 9-month break from mostly social media. I told everybody that I was making an album. Yes, I was making an album and it's called 9. And it'll be out on so day. And then I left. And as it's the past, they can look forward to that occurrence. And I mean, you see that I love the movies all over the world. And somebody announces a movie 2 years before it's released. And the whole world is waiting. As soon as you put a date to it, you made it into like a pregnancy.
Yeah.
And now people can watch it grow, come closer, even when they cannot see it.
Sure.
It's no longer in the dark because they have a date. And so it will turn out good. It will be beautiful. And most importantly, I'm mastering the act of timing.
Yeah.
What it means to be successful is to be on time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period.
Success is about alignment. And alignment, timing is one of the most important
timing
elements
is
of
everything.
alignment. Yeah.
So if the show starts on time, if I say album drops on 27th of May and it does, by the way, that is the essential recipe of what Brymo does.
Yeah.
I'm quite surprised artists are not doing it still. I'm quite surprised there's a lot of shift of dates when it comes to album releases. A lot. This don't mean that I cannot shift an album release date.
Yeah.
Of course I can. But if you put out 5 albums and you tell them this drops on this and so 4 of them should drop on time.
Yeah.
People need to trust you.
True.
So when people trust you, people trust that Brymo's album will drop the day Brymo said.
Yeah.
And so the people will trust that Brymo's concert will start when he says it will.
True.
And then people trust that the album is as good as Brymo says it is.
Yeah.
Is Brymo not successful?
Yes.
And that's it. And now you can scale up and scale up and scale up. And then you can now have 10,000 customers or 100,000 customers because you are trusted.
True.
So yeah, that's what's in it for me.
Yeah.
It's the game. That's the game.
Yeah.
The joy from being on time.
Yeah.
If you're on time, everybody will come.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
And everybody will be happy. And I mean that literally and metaphorically.
Yeah. All right. So just before the first time I ever considered interviewing you, first time I said, oh, Brymo's doing something that's amazing and reflective of this game. I want to go have a conversation with him and have more people understand his mindset. And I got a lot of pushback that said, don't do that. Don't interview Brymo. And my question is why? And they're like, he's divisive. I ask why, and they say the way he sees the world and communicates it is not something that we agree with. And my question to them is, am I a politician? And neither am I, and I'm not the arm of anything. My job as a journalist to reflect the truth of the industry, both the business and the art. And if Brymo is a part of that truth, or if Brymo even sheds light on that truth, then why not? So, do you consider yourself divisive, Brymo?
Not by any inch. In fact, I'm like, how do I put it? Some people have to make efforts to unite people.
Yeah.
To mediate, sit in quarrels and settle squabbles.
Yeah.
To create unity.
Yeah.
Unity exists just by my presence.
Okay, so your presence is a unifier.
Without any effort whatsoever. Now imagine when I now start to proffer solutions with my words, my lyrics, my music. So it's a whole different conversation, but there will be a section of society that will see you the way they see you, irrespective of what you think of yourself. People will dare to look the opposite of it. Because divisive, in fact, I make effort to not only find solutions to problems. I find the solutions, I practice them, and I report them.
Okay.
Whatever it is that I do not know for sure about, that I've never done completely, I will not solve the problem on a song or in a book or anything or in a tweet. I will not. If there's ever been any solution I prefer to a situation, I have at least practiced it on a scale. Even if I'm preferring it for a nationwide or continental scale suggestion, I must have done it to a level. Yeah. And music has taught me that, like I said last time, success is just being on time.
Yeah.
So if you plan to do something and you get it done on time, you have succeeded.
True.
And so therefore you will get better results every time you're on time.
Yeah.
Which is the point.
So success is punctuality.
Yeah. Which is like a local government to a federal government. It's the same thing. You're just scaling up and scaling up to the governor and you're scaling up to get to the federal. So yeah. So like I said before, and because of that, I know for sure how scaling works. And so I cannot be divisive. I cannot be. In fact, when I started out in 2013, and I started out with a new manager and my producer from way back, I kept my team together for 8 solid years.
Wow. And
when finally my team broke apart, I still do not know how my team broke apart till this very moment. So therefore, I cannot be divisive. That when it even came time to dismantle my own personal structure, it was done behind me. So
this speaks into your new project, Theta.
Theta, yes.
Theta. And congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations. I've been playing the project, digesting it, getting into it, just understanding the beauty behind it. And by Jove, it's an exploration into our humanity, into the many struggles, the dilemmas and the conundrums of humanity. And then a part of you just feels like a lamentation, a sigh. What could have been? It's a poignant project, really. Even thinking about it. Where did you have to go to get this?
I had to turn several days into one.
Okay.
For every song. I had to it was something I had to do. It was just part of my life, that period. I used to stay up a lot for that time. And so that sort of gave me a lot of, I don't know. None of those songs took me more than an hour to write. None of them. Okay. So I'll be up 2-3 nights and then in my theta state.
Yeah.
When it's time to just fall asleep, I pick up my phone and I start to write a song. I like this chorus. Now instead of me to go to bed, I will stay up and type it. And then before you know, I'm writing a verse with it. And then I'm writing another chorus with it. I'm up again singing all over the place. But the song always comes from a theta state. And
what's a theta state?
Just before you fall asleep. When you're wide awake, you're in alpha. When you're sleepy, you're in beta.
Yeah.
But there's that space in between. When you're lying down, and your body is tired, and you're about to sleep off, and you start daydreaming. You always get some very lovely idea for work.
Sure.
Those moments before you sleep. That's theta state. So I take it every single time, and I would get up and then use it. Because I already have the first line coming to me, maybe a whole chorus coming to me while I was lying down. I just get up and then I finish the song. And then I go to bed, finally. And I recorded most of the album the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be up a couple of days and then I'll go to the studio and Biggie is looking at me like, bro, you're tired. I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm going to record this song today.
But then that theta state, it's such a tongue twister. That theta state, is this the only way? Would you recommend it as a way for people to perform at their highest selves?
Well, I only did that one time, and fortunately, I do not repeat the same process for any other album. Okay. So I'm allowed to share it freely right now because I've used it already.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, and most importantly, during the process, I could not explain what was happening yet. In fact, I named the album Theta before I wrote it, before I recorded it.
Yeah.
And I found out about the Theta state 3 weeks ago.
Whoa.
In reality. Okay. So I'm running my mouth now like Theta state. Yeah. I had no explanation for why I chose the name in the first place until 3 weeks ago.
Whoa. Okay. I'm going to do more research into this.
So so usually this is why I argue that whatever needs to be said is what is said.
Yes.
If something is supposed to be said, you won't say it. You will not remember to say it.
But there are a lot of unsaids that needed to be said.
Then that's somebody holding back from saying them. That's different.
Okay.
Yeah, you can hold back from saying things, but you cannot mistakenly say something you're not supposed to say. It's impossible. Because whatever you understand is what you will spew. Yeah. This consciousness spews, talks on your behalf. True. If you check, people who talk a lot have people with strong memories at the same time. True. Come on. They're speaking a lot because they remember a lot. Yes. So they're resolving and sharing. That's what you're doing. So you cannot say what should not be said. Okay. So I cannot tell you process when I'm writing an album. Yeah. When I'm recording it, once I release it, I'll be like, oh, this is what happened. Yeah. I couldn't have told you when I was doing it. I didn't know what I was doing.
I get you. Sometimes you gain perspective in with the benefit of hindsight.
So the desire to make such an album was what drove me to making the way I did. It was all desire. And by the time the desire is now met, you will now realize the process that took you there.
True. For certain records on this project, I think Illusions, I know you've gotten a lot of love for Illusions. I haven't quoted one of your tweets, one of the lines from me just before I got here, because it's been on constant replay. And you describe the story of someone who went in search of gold, got it the wrong way.
Well, not really. I was rewriting a story.
Okay.
I was writing the story of the transatlantic slave trade, and I've been trying to avoid interviews about it, but now the song is the most politically incorrect thing I've done so far. Okay. Especially because it throws jabs at the West. Yeah. In reality, my position is that we are the slavers.
Yes.
We are the slavers.
We are the slavers. We found opportunity to we sold. But we've always before they came,
we were always slavers.
We were already slavers.
So, but the story was necessary, like sort of like a reaction to a trend I had noticed in Hollywood. I would watch documentaries and about slave trade and stuff, and I would hear white men say many times that not one black house slave ever killed their master. And I heard it a couple of times. I'm thinking, yeah, someone's supposed to do that though. Someone's supposed to just be able to do that, you know? Because it now felt like we allowed it to happen for centuries. And right after I posted Illusion and the album is out, people are giving me the reaction that people probably gave 300 years ago. People were asking me, why did Boy kill his master? Is that not murder? Nigerians. People do not realize suddenly that Boy was a slave, was fighting for his freedom. All they can think about is there's a boss. Why did you kill your boss? That's what they're thinking about.
Do you think that's a function of how aspirational we are? People never think of themselves as a slave. They see themselves as the winner in every situation, as the boss of that story.
No, not many people.
So they can relate more with the boss.
They're empathizing for the boss. The slaves.
Oh, okay.
Especially because they are one with boy, they're one with me. It's our country. This song is about our race. How can you empathize with the boss? It's about you. That's the craziest part.
But the boss is seen as ensuring self-survival. Ensuring survival.
This boss is slave master. He bought you, he bought your brother, who then saved himself. And then you ask how he's not supposed to be arrested. He killed his boss.
For freeing your generation. You should be punished for it.
Yes. Like what we do here. No good deed
goes unpunished.
It is a practice. It's constant here. You know, as soon as you do something nice, everybody, there's a lashing immediately. And then they'll pretend, after they get the message, weeks, years later, they'll pretend it wasn't you who set the trend. they will come around to using it. Why we are very different as a race, why we're very unique, is that after learning from what the person did that they punished the person for, they still will not give the person any credit.
well, as a function of shame.
You're practicing what they preached. So you clearly learned later. Just say the word, just say, well done, thank you. It's okay.
But people are usually ashamed of being students again and having new information.
And then after you learned it, after you found use of it, you're no longer a student. You're now practicing. When I just gonna turn around and say, oh, well done, thank you. When? So, and this culture is what's very prominent in civilized communities. All they do is that they just reward their heroes. They try as much as possible, generation for generation, to not let them die, to let them win now. Oh, what you have done is great. We're going to find a way to make sure it works.
Yeah.
So you can also earn and be good at it.
Yeah.
Don't be a hero. Just relax. Don't be a hero. Don't die. Here's your reward. Be happy. Be good. Do more for us. That's all.
And that's why there's usually this saying that you should give people their flowers.
You know, well, I don't like flowers, My Excellence. I'll be right back, Joey.
Okay. And being someone with a very unique view of the world, being someone with a very unique view of the world, being someone that has over time like unraveled parts of the world that you don't believe like the general populace have, or they've gotten to that realization yet. I've seen you share these perspectives. I've seen it polarize the world. A lot of people push back. A lot of people say you speak the truth. In your own experience, being this way, navigating the world as this, what has been your own experience being this person?
I would say clearly, Joey, that for every day that I compromise, and I try to be less of myself to accommodate all the talk too much, do too much, feel too much, think too much.
Yeah.
For every single day that I compromised and stepped back a bit, I suffered.
In what sense?
I suffered emotionally and physically. I always suffered. And that was when I knew that it was time to be myself completely. And there was a time I could take the suffering. Even up until Osho, I could take the suffering. I was very disciplined, very conservative, always indoors. You know, I went out too much. And then right after Osho, I decided, something popped into my head that said, what the hell are you doing? Like, literally, you've been around this place for a while. You've never been a pop star one day of your life. Take this 1 year off and let go. Everybody asks you to let go. Let go. Stop thinking. Stop feeling. Just be open to everything. And I did it. You were there with me at the interview.
Yes. Yes, I was.
I was lucky. Like, the lockdown was for me. Like, the universe made me crash into it. Yeah. It was a terrible 1 year between 2019 and 2020. Yeah. But nobody knew because it was lockdown anyway. And now, something else you need to understand. Yellow was meant to be out August 2020. Yeah. October 2019, I just woke up one morning, called Mickey and said, let's start recording. He said, but later, I said, no, let's start now. I didn't know anything was coming. went to the studio, was hurried. Started recording Yellow for no reason. Then I finished in December and started mixing. And by March, it was ready. I said I would release April Fool's Day. I liked the date. And 2 weeks after, I sent the music out to Apple and the rest, and it was ready for release. A lockdown was announced. And the lockdown was 31st March. And the album dropped the next day right after, the very first morning of lockdown.
Yeah.
Yellow dropped. It was a miracle, Joey.
Yeah, I remember that day. I was in a meeting with a streaming executive. I was in a meeting with the streaming executive, and I'm like, Brymo just dropped an album, Yellow. And the person went on their platform and saw that someone had already uploaded your music. That's when we began to make efforts to reach your manager then. Instantly in that room, I called your manager and like, I'm with this person. The project you just dropped now is on their platform, but I'm not sure it is from you people. You guys interact and know what to do next. But it was such a moment, Yellow. It was one of the soundtracks of our lockdown.
It was the soundtrack. Jesus Christ. It was amazing because it's one of the markers of this amazing journey. So yeah, I see myself. I do not see things differently.
Yeah.
Joey, I'm like everybody else. My impulses, my automatic responses are equally corrupt, equally bad, equally messed up.
Yeah.
I just have a holdback switch, sort of. So after something pops into my head to do, immediately my thoughts kick in.
Yeah.
But what is this thing I'm about to do? What does it mean? What will it mean for me? And now I've done it for so long that on days that I'm not rethinking what I desired and I wanted to do, somebody else will walk in with the conversation I need to hear, Joey.
Yeah.
And I'll just go, oh, I was just thinking about that now.
Yeah.
Then it will give me clarity.
True.
Because I've been seeking clarity for so long. On the days I refuse to seek clarity for myself, the universe sends somebody to me to give me clarity before I do the thing. So, yeah, and I don't know, Joey, it's just what it is. I feel like giving myself to this process, to timing.
Yeah.
For instance, we were always ready a month before, 3-4 years ago, and I'm ready a month before, and then I'll push it out. And then we'll send it out. We'll wait for 2-3 weeks. We'll do what's it called? Pre-order links. We'll do
the marketing.
We had 2 solid weeks already uploaded, already or set to go even. And then suddenly lockdown came, everything shut down. And even I started to find it difficult to be punctual. Between 9 and Theta, we could have missed release date.
Yeah.
But I had been keeping to the release date for so long that a new company in 1 RPM came to Nigeria suddenly, an office here, and you don't want to know, Joey. 9 was released 3 days before the date. We sent it for upload 3 days before. Theta 4 days before.
Wow.
Just because people knew that it was going to come on that day, they were expectant of it. Somebody somewhere was able to help, and then it happened twice back to back. I was late on both albums. 9, yes, clearly because of the entire spread of songs, 18 songs. But with Theta, it was just 10 songs, and we're still late. And they were just sitting there going, you come again, right? You don't come again, and they help us again. I just had to make 27th. It was impossible to make 27th. It became impossible to make 27th.
Shout out to 1 RPM.
Shout out to 1 RPM.
She's headed by their African operation. Osage, yes. She's been on the podcast.
She's amazing. She captioned Theta, actually. The caption you read on Apple Music was written by Osage, I believe.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And she asked for a caption and I didn't send early. And then I saw that, I was like, ooh, Osage, you killed it.
Yeah, because she had to listen to the music, you know? She had to. And this has happened. But with this, your music has always, while it has maintained its quality, it's always delved into a lot of things. Like, take for example, Merchants, Dealers, and Slaves. What was that project about?
Merchants, Dealers, and Slaves was about, yes, makes sense now. Oh, everything comes to a head at Illusions, yes. Everything I said on MDNS in the title, I was able to expatiate more on Illusions. Yeah. So, specifically, just creates the 3 processes which slave trade functioned. There's a merchant, which is at sea, who takes delivery of the goods. Then there's a dealer, who's a slaver. Yeah. Then there's a slave. You know, there's no other name for that. And and so, yeah, that was a title for the album, and now Illusions is the nitty-gritty, the story of how I choose to approach it. When I did MDNS, I had to specifically bring it home. If you ain't got freedom you can give, you know no person, you know get your right.
Yeah.
Black people, they measure their pricky size.
Yeah.
Justice for sale now, who go buy? We want no more slavery in this land. So that was the one I brought home.
Yeah.
That was me saying, yo, we're enslaving each other. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Illusions is the extension of that. In fact, now I feel better because Illusions is the balance for MDNS. It came later to now create balance for it. Everything I accuse my own of, I finally managed to extend that same accusation to the detractor, and it's all beautiful. It's all lovely, and yes, oosh, that's what it's about.
There's this song on Theta. I know we spoke about like your public tribulation, but there's this song on Theta. I'm trying to find it where you addressed it completely. Jerry. It's Oga.
Yeah.
What was Oga?
Yeah,
Oga felt like you were telling your story.
No, Oga is a story of an abuser.
Okay.
Oga is a rapist, literally, and which is why the verse 2 said that you been show her where the tools be, until she been plating. Understand? Yeah. The munitions and pile, the switchblades plenty. My heart cold and soul, you know if you save it. The pain is still fresh between her legs. So Oga was an abuser, and she was stealthily waiting for him, holding his own pistol. Yeah. That he showed her cache of tools. So she took the pistol and was ready to just like kill him. Like, this guy literally just has me locked down here, just uses me however he pleases. And she was going to kill him. But by the time he came back, he was bleeding. He was getting judgment in the street already. And he was bleeding so badly that she dropped the gun and lives. Because he was already getting his judgment. Whatever it takes off your ear, he's trying to aim for your head, clearly. So, and Oga knew the hear word, now that thing happened to her. So Oga is my own delve into taking a proper stand on the issue of abuse.
Yeah.
That if I were to abuse a woman, these are the things I deserve. Okay. Yes. If I were to do that to a woman, I put the judgment on the song, just in case if I'm one of them, it could also be meted on me. That's all.
That's deep. That's deep. And in a way, within the past, in the past few years, you know, someone has said this of you before.
Mm-hmm. That's why I made a song. Libel wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I made libel for healing, for any victim of abuse who listens to libel should be able to find succor in it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough. I had to deal with that first.
Yeah.
Because my angst was higher then.
Yeah.
If I were to speak, I will not write balanced lyrics. I'll be emotional. So I had to first of all ignore myself and then try to profile succor to anyone who may feel abused by relieving myself of a story and just letting myself go. And and then now I came around to doing Oga, which is the balance for that as well, for libel.
Why is it important that you always have these balances?
Yeah, because there's always two sides of the story, and then when you hear those two sides, there will now be a third side will now emerge as the truth. There's no there's a practice of now your own be that, my own be this. That's what the Open Us Together is about. Yeah. That one I own. Something will work for me. That one will work for you. It's not a very great culture. We must adopt the culture of I talk, then the truth will emerge in the middle. So many times I have conversation for people when they're telling me their opinion, I'm thinking about mine, and then I'm going to talk in the third offering. Most of the times when I do that, however, people tend to assume that I'm telling them my own perspective. But I'm telling you the resolve. I'm telling you, I'm discussing the third, the balance, because I've heard from you. I know what I think. Now I've heard from you, so I will arrive at the balance, at a third angle. And that was how I found out that my surrounding is very, very, is teeming with folks who insist, even when the solution is staring them in the face, and you just say it, they're like, that one not for you, Sha. No, it work for you. And you say you're different now. they will find a way to still personalize the solution to you alone. They will refuse that they can apply to them. We do not believe in universal truths. We do not believe that there's something that can be constant in a situation. That when you go front, right, left, you arrive at the middle, and that will be the solution that works every time in that kind of situation. It works every single time. It is perfect. It is universal. We don't believe that.
Self-evident truths.
We don't believe it. We try to still say, yeah, it may not work for somebody else, shall. No, there are things that work for everybody. If we find them in everything, we'll advance. That's what it means to be advanced, really. To resolve every issue. Look for the middle ground in every issue and apply that middle ground and insist on it every time. Do it for every conversation, and then everybody's fine. And now we're advanced, we're civilized. we are actually like developed. Simple. If we start to behave like that, some of us will start to invent things too.
True.
Yeah.
Sure. and an extension of this, and knowing the times we're in is politics. And I want to know what you think about our politics.
Well, up until now, I was only ever interested in the politics of the music industry only, because that's where I make a living. And but lately, I'm beginning to get a jab at myself. Like, you live in this country. This is your country. You have to give your opinion on politics, on general politics. And so, yeah,
because it affects you directly.
Yeah, it affects me directly. And some of the issues that I'm dealing with within my local industry or within social gatherings, I started to see them even with the ruling class. Yeah. And then I realized, oh, we're all in this together. Yeah. Same problem from here to there. Sure. So what are the solutions to this problem? So I've become more interested in national politics, in offering my opinion publicly too. And I will do a lot of that from ends, because it goes beyond liking candidates. It goes beyond stigmatizing the politicians as all corrupt. It goes beyond that now. It's gone beyond that. I think we may have to settle for less evil until we find good. That's my point. We may have to do that, because you can't go from evil to just good. You start to find less evil first, and then eventually you find good.
So you think we're supposed to start the process now?
It's too late, but yes, we can still start. We can start by just picking the least evil for now, and hopefully we'll get good in the future. As long as the evil reduces, good is on the way. Sorry, good has arrived. You see? Yeah, so, yeah. Someone was saying that while they finish, they come and go. They finish. They finish actually.
Yeah, it does.
He finished Sote for UK. Now, lockdown rule, now Prime Minister break. Now be the problem now for UK. Lockdown rule.
Yeah, because a lot of them don't have the level of problems we have here.
There are also problems. Now lockdown rule it is complaining about. You break lockdown rule. Lockdown rule.
But our own self, politicians share that. They share our palliative as birthday.
You talk about lockdown rule. You know the amount of crimes we do on top of that one. So like literally, problem they finish. As you solve them, you go to advance. You go to solve lesser problems.
Yes.
But for the people in the UK, that is a big problem. Because they insist that they stayed home, some parents died, some king died, friends were hurt, they couldn't see their family member, and you were breaking the rule that you give us?
I get you. From this end, I have this belief in, in the individuality of pain. So the hardest thing you've ever experienced is, and that's how I sort of process other people's pain. That's how I show empathy. Or understanding everybody, there's an individuality of pain. Everybody's pain is unique. And the hardest thing
they decide how deep it is for them.
Yes. And the hardest thing you've ever faced is the hardest thing you have ever
faced.
So if the hardest thing they faced is you broke down lockdown rules,
that's what it is.
Then it's valid.
That's what it is for them. That's the biggest problem there. It is a huge problem. Because I was watching on TV, the Prime Minister was getting questioned, and he kept jumping up to explain himself. He cannot not explain himself.
But when you fly down the Atlantic, you see somebody stole 60 billion.
And nobody's talking about it.
We don't care about your lockdown rules.
Lockdown rule.
With all of this happening, you've done this for a while. You have pursued excellence across many forms, in many ways. And you're at this stage now where you've achieved excellence to a certain degree, even though you keep saying there's still a lot to do. There are still places to go. There's still, the journey is just starting. It's still day one for you. For you, going forward, what's most important for you now as a creative, as a person navigating this world? What's most important for you?
Everything is important to me, Joy. Everything is important, like waking up, eating, taking a piss, taking a shit, having sex, eating, sleeping.
Yeah.
You know, everything feels good. Life is good. You know, I love life, you know, and that's the most important thing. All of my angst, all of my complaining is to make sure that what is good becomes better and what is bad can sift towards good. Yeah. We are supposed to never be righteous, but we're never supposed to stop trying to become. We're supposed to become better and better in character. We're supposed to be better. Don't let me use the word righteous now. Yeah. We're supposed to be better. Just the same way your pain is your pain, that's the same way your evil is the world's evil. Yeah. You must fix it. No matter how small you think your evil is, you need to fix it. You need to fix it. You need to keep fixing yourself. Because since I was 30 years old, I found out things about myself I didn't know I could do. I found out about myself I didn't know was there. I've heard things about me I didn't know anybody could say about me. Just between 6 years of my 30s. I'm a different boy from the boy I was 20-something. So in this period, I've lied to people. I've cheated some people. I've let some people down. So I must also fix up and improve my character. No matter what got me there. Hunger, pain, you know, impatience, I will have to fix it. I have to be more patient. I have to tell less lies. You have to do that as you get older for your peace of mind, at least. And so everything matters to me. It matters to me. Changes across everywhere. My greatest job in the world is just brainstorming every day about the domain of human existence, the domain of character, of social relations. Compartmentalizing relationships.
Why is that important to you?
Because it gives me peace. It gives me peace. If I treat everybody the way they should be treated, I'll be fine. And it works like a miracle. This life could be heaven every day, Joy. Yeah. It's possible. It's possible. It could be heaven every day. You could, if you make the right choices every day, you'll be fine every day. You'll be happy every day. It has nothing to do with money. It has to do with choices. Every encounter you have with people is a predator-prey situation. Yeah. So, can you make it predator? Can you pray? Can you find a way? Balance, right? Yeah. If everything goes right or left, it will be predator-prey situation. Yeah. But if you find a middle ground, it's like making love. Yeah. Someone's getting fucked, but they come, so they're good. Yeah. So everybody's happy now. Nobody yanked their pussy from them. Nobody forced your dick in your mouth. You wanted to do it, both of you did it together, and then you arrive at the climax, and then you say you made love, and then there is no victor, there's no vanquish.
Everybody just gets what they desire.
Nobody feels fucked. But somebody got fucked though.
Two people got fucked.
So nobody got fucked. Everybody's good.
Okay. I think we should probably end this. Theta is out now, all stars. It's a beautiful project. I've listened to it. I love it. I'll continue listening to it even after this. And thank you so much, Brymo, for giving yourself to humanity. Thank you so much for continuing to.
Thank you, Joey. But I give myself to self.
Yeah.
But the most selfish thing you can do is the most selfless thing you can do. Just like the same way, I have to look for the balance between selfish and selfless every time I do something. Yeah. I cannot be selfless.
Yes, I get you.
Neither can I be selfish.
I get you. Yeah. for being selfishly selfless. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joey.
Thank you so much. Thank you.